With that
don't
said,
like
Mike
seeing
Myers entering the studio.
Mike,
Sure.
you there, up there?
Or you can sit there.
Could sit there. No problem.
How are you, Mike?
I'm sleepy.
I see
Yeah. This is just, it's a ludicrous time to wake up to do any type of entertainment.
Yeah.
Sweet tarts and a coffee, and I could do the state bar exam right now. So.
You know what's funny? Like, we're used to this, so when we forget that it's really early in the morning. And then we're reminded when people come in and they're tired and they haven't had their coffee yet.
Yeah, I was on Saturday Night Live.
Right.
So you get used to that kind of late night
Yeah.
thing where you don't really start rolling in till 4 o'clock.
Right.
And you get there at the crack of noon. You know?
That's how people in entertainment should be. You know, not that I'm saying we're in entertainment. We're in radio.
We're on the lower rung of entertainment.
But it's like getting up. It sucks. I hated getting up early when I worked for a living, and I just I don't like it now. Afternoon drive radio was good. But if you can't be to work by 3, you should really be fired.
You gotta be used to it for being on sets, though. I mean, you get like a 6 o'clock call in the morning or something. It just, just stinks.
No, I try and push it later and later. You know, Steve Martin doesn't get in there till 9 o'clock, and that's what I heard one day, and I went, I like that.
Yeah.
I'll do that. That sounds good. Yeah,
I just
must
got
be
cold.
nice,
Hold on
though.
a second.
Oh.
You're just going to put on the New York Islanders. you know, my team is the Toronto Maple Leafs. I call the New York Islanders a defoliant. And because they wear orange, I call them Agent Orange. Because they take away all the leaves.
I just got cold, so I had to put my Islanders jersey on. I haven't worn the Islanders jersey in, I don't know, a couple of years, but I figured for the Mike Myers interview, I'd rub it in a little.
Ope's a big Islander
Well,
fan. He's still
first
waiting
of
for his
all-
drive for 5.
Yeah, I certainly am, my friend. I'm a huge hockey fan like yourself.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Huge.
great. I'm still waiting to win the Stanley Cup.
Well, we're waiting to get back there. It's been a while. It's been 20-some-odd years at this point.
I don't know much about hockey. Did those two teams not like each other?
We had our problems.
There was a problem.
We had some problems.
There was a little bit of an incident of on the same week that 4 Canadian soldiers got killed in a friendly fire incident. Some Islanders fan booed the Canadian national anthem.
Yeah.
Which was kind of like,
Well,
that's going to hurt a fella.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was at the Coliseum, and it was a playoff game against Toronto, and I'm sitting there, and they're booing the Canadian anthem, and I'm thinking, half our team is Canadian too, you dummies. There's not a lot of Americans in hockey. Why are you booing their national anthem? You're insulting the Islanders as well.
Oh, well, I don't hold a grudge. I can't imagine it was everybody. And, you know, the thing about Americans, and I'm an American now, too, is that it was pretty self-policed. A lot of Americans got on those dudes.
Yeah.
Well, it's like soccer fans. I mean, like, they'll yell the most... they're the worst fans in the world. I mean, occasionally there might be a bullying at a baseball game or a hockey game, but, soccer fans will just, will throw stuff on the field, darts. Yeah, they're animals.
Darts.
Savage.
I do got to say, before we talk about the Love Guru, one of my favorite hockey players of all time is Ty Domi.
Ty Domi, number 28.
He used to beat the crap out of some of the Islanders, and I would be sitting there at the Coliseum, like, cheering him on, and I'm a hardcore Islander fan, but it's just how this guy plays. I can't help myself.
He's the type of dude who is like, hey, Mike, you want to go to dinner?
Yeah.
Call me. And I'm like, are you trying to kill me? Did I just get invited to dinner, or am I in peril? It's a tough call. And what I also love about hockey players now, because of helmets, because I'm old enough where, like, people didn't wear helmets.
Yeah.
Where it's now like everybody's got like perfect hair and everything's normal.
Yeah.
But there's just this little circle here that is completely scar tissue. Yeah. And they have this extraorbital ridge that's just all cuts and it looks like a Picasso.
The old, who was that? Ron Duguay that used to skate around with the locks of hair and no
hair
helmet.
being blown by unseen winds?
Yes.
Yeah, you can't mess with that hair, man.
No.
I was fortunate when I was growing up. I caddied for all the Islanders as they did their Stanley Cup runs, man. Clark Gillies and Billy Smith and the rest of them. And in between games, they were just drinking their faces off and playing golf. And when they won it back in the day, I got a picture as just a little kid next to the Stanley Cup.
Well, I had a different experience when the New York Islanders had their dynasty run. I was looking for ways to hang myself with electrical cords, but, tomato, what can I say? I was sitting there going, I'm from Toronto. I want my cup now.
Yeah.
I want my cup. I'm a good guy.
Well, we bring up hockey because the Love Guru is based around, some hockey, right?
Some hockey.
I mean, you got it's based on the Toronto Maple Leafs basically having a little problem, and they call in you to.
Well, I remember the guru. The Yankees hired a guru, which is kind of one of the thing that happened. They hired a guru, and I thought, what if the Toronto Maple Leafs hired a guru?
Yeah.
And as Marilyn Monroe says in her song, "When love goes wrong, nothing goes right." And I wanted to combine two interesting and seemingly unlike subjects.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's kind of like Field of Dreams, Rink of Dreams. If you write it, they will win.
Mm-hmm.
The last time I saw the Stanley Cup, I was 4, and at that point I was still pooping in my pants. And I think the next time I see the Stanley Cup in Toronto, I'll be pooping in my pants, either from excitement or incontinence. It'll be a depends moment.
Who is the guru based on? Did you grab any people from history? Or?
Well, there was the Maharishi Mahesh Yogi, the guy who came over in the 60s and helped all these different celebrities come to realize themselves, the Beatles and stuff. A little bit of Deepak Chopra. After my dad died, I love my dad. He's a big sports fan. He was funny. He was a tough Liverpool guy. If you stepped out of line, not only would you get cut down verbally, but you could expect to get a nice cuff on the back of the head. Good Liverpool Irish background. So I was devastated, to be honest with you. And the good news is that my dad would never have wanted me to be bummed out. He figured that to be enlightened is to lighten up, and he was super, super funny. So this movie's kind of a tribute to him.
Oh, that's cool.
Just to
He died in 1991.
He died in 91 of Alzheimer's. Yeah, it was a pretty brutal way to go.
Horrible. And he never saw your success, right?
Not one bit of it. I think he's singing it up in heaven, but you got
something in common. You got something in common with Anthony.
Yeah, because I'm as successful as Mike.
You know what? I mean, we've done pretty well in the radio world, and Anthony hit in radio right after his dad died.
Yeah, I was in construction. So I was just doing construction work and got into radio, and it was like 3 months after my dad died, I got into radio. So it was like, this is great.
So his last memory is
good.
Anthony and addicts putting in air conditioners.
It was like in 95, so...
Well, the irony of my dad is that nobody would have found his Alzheimer's more funny than my father.
Really? Oh, my God, really?
He got Alzheimer's. He just I got old-timers disease. He was like making jokes. I'm going, you're making jokes. You're losing your mind. You're dying. What are you doing? But that's the Liverpool way, man. You can't...
Yeah.
Everything's a joke.
There's some tough people from Liverpool, it seems.
They're the toughest people. They own nothing except their own bodies.
Yeah.
It's there's a lot of public sex, and everybody knows how to play the guitar. It's the weirdest thing. If you take the bus in Liverpool from downtown to the suburbs where my relatives live, you will see it's the pool of life. You'll see every possible act, somebody taking a poop, somebody engaged in things they shouldn't be, and dudes just telling jokes, and they're hilarious. And there's a lot of drinking.
Yeah.
You can skate home in people's vomit on a Friday.
It's actually on the brochures.
Yeah, the city of Liverpool have decided that that's a virtue, but you can't fix feature, It's the gastric tour. That's what they call it.
So were you like first generation Canadian born, or were you born over there?
No, I was born in Canada, but me and my brothers are the only people in my whole gene pool that aren't from Liverpool.
Yeah.
And aren't incarcerated. It's the car theft capital of Europe. Having said that, my relatives are awesome, and they're all law-abiding, and they all work in the railways, and they work as postmen and stuff like that. They're good people.
Is it true when you were growing up, you weren't the funniest in your family? That doesn't sound possible.
My dad was hilarious. My mom's super eccentric. My brothers are super, super geniuses. And I used to try to be funny. My mom would go, "Oh, you're not funny, Michael. Oh. Don't try. It's sad, actually. You're making a fool of yourself. All right, all the Myers brothers who are funny, take one step forward. Not so fast, Michael. Just don't try."
Are they in the business, your brothers?
My brother's a music journalist. He's written 2 books, and he writes about music. And my other brother works in business. And Thank you very much. He's super, super funny.
Yeah.
So it was a great house. You know, we grew up in government-assisted housing in the suburbs of Toronto, and again, when you own nothing except a sense of humor, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of gets you through sometimes. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Do you ever call Colin Quinn and just read off the numbers that Austin Powers did?
He always comes up to me and goes, I just want to tell you something. I am an effing asshole. Let's just get that out straight away. You called me not even once, you called me 10 times. I'm an idiot.
Stupid Colin.
Wait, Mike called Colin for a role?
He offered him a role.
In what movie?
Austin Powers, right?
Oh,
Initially
my
Scott
God.
Evil, and then, things happen.
Oh, no.
Things happen quickly. And the director, Jay Roach, had a casting session, and he found Seth Green, who I was really, Seth Green's hilarious.
Yeah.
And, he just brought so much to it. But I had worked with Colin Quinn on Saturday Night Live, and, he's just so funny. He's just a funny dude, and I just thought it would be great to have. Do you ever meet, like I'm, way taller than my dad, and I'm not even tall. I'm 5'7.5", though I claim 5'8" on my hockey card, And I just thought it'd be hilarious to have, a son that was a good 3 or 4 feet taller.
Weighed 4 times as much.
He's a big dude.
That's hilarious because Colin's a really good friend of the show. He does the show a lot.
Yeah.
I did not know. Oh, I can't wait for him to come back in here, man.
It's the beauty because Colin criticizes. He's the most brutal guy I know, and yet he'll always. And it's like he refused that, but he accepted Crocodile Dundee 2.
Crocodile Dundee 2.
That's the beauty of Colin. He's made the worst movie blunders in history, but he's Colin's.
He's so funny. He told the funniest joke about. He said, I got Al Jazeera. I get all the cable stations. I got Al Jazeera. For the kids. So it made me laugh. He's hilarious.
He lives really close to here, so he might pop in that door because whenever we're talking bad about him, he comes running in. So who knows? He might show
all
up
right,
now.
Well, let's talk bad about him.
You miss him.
I miss him. He's a good dude. I run into him all the time in New York. So
the last story we had from him was when he just caught hell for this one. He was pushing Jerry Seinfeld's car to start it out in front of
Comedy
where was
Cellar,
it? Comedy
right?
Cellar.
Down Minetta Lane.
Yeah, and Jerry apparently couldn't get his car started, so it needed a bump start.
Yeah.
And Colin was pushing it, and some guy right at the end of it, when he pushed Jerry's car, and Jerry's car starts and drives away, some guy turns around and goes, "Hey, good work, Colin." I just saw him pushing Jerry's car.
Yeah, made the paper.
Very embarrassing for
Page
Colin.
6.
Yeah.
Well, he's a good guy. I love him.
Yeah, he's definitely
Speaking
decent.
of the guys from the past, Wayne's World during
Yeah.
the MTV Movie Awards,
Yeah.
man, that made me really happy. And
Well-
and you guys looked exactly like you did when you made the movie 14, 15 years ago, right?
Thank you. I gotta tell you, man.
That was so much fun to watch.
I had missed Dana Carvey. He's like the funniest guy I ever worked with. This guy, when I first got on Saturday Night Live, I was a stupid new guy from Nowheresville. I didn't have an office. My office was me being cross-legged on my coat by the elevator bank.
Yeah.
Lauren called security on me 4 times. Dana had to go, well, no, actually, Lauren, you hired him. He's in the cast. He's a great guy. Yeah, Phil Hartman, you know when you have a group of friends and this one guy is the guy that always calls and keeps everybody together. We used to call him the glue, Phil Hartman. When Phil passed away, and, it just sort of got hard for all of us to kind of get together. And then they said, do you want to host the MTV Movie Awards? And I'm like, I love doing it because, you get to do characters and I love the excitement of a live show.
Sure.
And I said, Wayne's World. And so I called up Dana and came and we didn't even rehearse. All we did was just tell old stories. And I feel like I'm related to him. I think we're from the same factory or something. But he's like a cousin, and we just couldn't stop talking. And they were like, "Can we just rehearse the scene, please?" And I'm like, "Yeah, okay, 1 second. Hey, do you remember that time that guy?" So it was great. He's a good guy.
Wayne's World.
He's in great shape now. I don't know if you guys heard he had like some weird heart thing too.
No, but we did hear. I forgot the exact story, but they operate on the wrong part of his body, right?
Dana Carvey is the best. He's the most health conscious person I've ever met. I mean, we would do a show. He took me on tour, took me under his wing, which was super cool, and we would be out, and we would have we'd have some brown pops. We would sample some local brewed beverages, which was super fun after a show. And then he'd be up at 6 o'clock in the morning in the gym, sweating, working out. He just had one of those genetic predisposition for heart stuff. He had like 3 angioplasties, and they said if this when they put the balloon in your heart to open up the thing, they said if this one doesn't work, we're going to have to operate. And he went, okay, fine. They operated on the wrong valve.
Oh, you imagine?
Jesus.
So he was out for like 2 years, and I'm like, that sucks. But honestly, this is a dude, nothing but generous. He's a joy, super, super funny.
Did they go back?
I just kept pimping him to do Johnny Carson the whole time. I was like his worst fan. Yeah. I was like in the back of the car because we drove all the way through Mid-America, and I was going, so what would Johnny do if he was playing golf? And what would Johnny? And he'd be like, come on, Mike, give me a break. And he'd be like, well, that is weird. That is some weird, wild stuff. And I'd be like, yes.
Yeah, he did do a great Carson, man.
And he's got...
I feel he is Carson when he...
Yeah. He's got HBO now, I think, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I saw that on demand or something. I got to check it out.
Why didn't they get him to play Carson? Because I don't know if was he doing him back then when that Letterman movie, The Late Show, they got Rich Little, who was like weighed 250, and he sounds like Johnny, but he looked nothing like him. Like, why didn't they grab him?
They should have got Dana.
I don't know. I saw that once. I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah, he didn't look like him at all. He just kind of sounds like him.
Wayne's World was one of those movies that obviously came from an SNL skit that really was successful. There are a few, that kind of fall flat. And a lot of people have speculated, did you have the Austin Powers character in mind during SNL but didn't put it out there as a character for the show? Because, again, I've heard this, because, Lorne gets a pretty nice cut of money from movies that come from characters from the show. So did you just go, I'm going to hold this one back? And
the weirdest thing is, my dad sold encyclopedias. My mom worked in the office of a factory. This kind of business sense thing just really wasn't talked about at the dinner table. Do you know what I mean? It's not, we were like, a lot of topics of conversation were like, hey, the water heater doesn't work. This is the sort of thing. So this kind of like thinking ahead and strategizing just really wasn't part of the equation. Austin Powers was just every British comedy my father loved. And when he died, I just went, you know what? I'm just going to do a movie. And I thought, if nobody gets it, sure, fair enough. I just needed to make a tribute to my father. But, the kind of thinking ahead stuff, honestly, you don't have any time. And I'm an okay businessman, but nothing in my gene pool would suggest that I'd be any good at it. You know what I mean?
That was just a topic too that, like you said, if anybody gets it or not, it was one of those subjects that was like, I remember watching those movies as a kid. Yeah. You'd watch these. I had fuzzy memories.
That's all. I write from fuzzy memory. I don't do any research. But it's so funny, You do this stuff. I mean, I grew up super working class, like literally, like, and to this day, like my mom, for Christmas, my mom said, "Oh, I got you a lovely gift. I think you'll really love it." She got me tube socks. I'm like, tube socks? You know what I mean? But this kind of like Paul Bunyan. It's like, why, I believe he has an ox named Blue that weighs 2 tons. Why, he can clear a forest with one swoop of his mighty axe. I'm like, no, I'm an idiot, actually. I'm an idiot from Toronto. Got lucky, who works hard.
Yeah.
I'm the dude that studied for the exam. That's about it.
Going back to Austin Powers, I was reading up on you last night. I didn't know it didn't do well at the box office when it first came out. I had no idea. And then it found its way on DVD, I believe. And obviously the movie is hilarious, so I don't even know why people didn't see it originally. But that must have been a little strange, right?
I'm just happy to have a job. And like I said, I'm just happy to be employed. I was just like this, up in Toronto. I went, God, I'd love to make comedies. And Gilda Radner played my mom in a TV commercial when I was 10. And I fell in love with her. It was a 4-day shoot, and I cried, and my brothers called me Sucky Baby, and it's like,
Sucky
they're like, way to go, Sucky Baby. You got something else you want to cry about? And then they said, hey, Sucky Baby, your girlfriend's on some stupid show on Saturday. It doesn't even have a name. And it was Saturday Night Live, and I went, God, I'd love to be on that show. And 14 years later, not only I was on it, but I didn't even know that there would be a show on 14 years later. Right. So it's all kind of just been amazing. I still don't know how it all happened. I pinch myself. It's just...
And your movies, it's got to be said, grossed over, what, $3 billion?
Something like that. I don't know.
$3 billion.
It's also got to be
said. You just have to do stuff you think is funny, and you know, I love comedy. So
yeah.
It's also got to be said, the Sucky Baby is not a great nickname for a guy, but that could actually be hot under the right circumstances for a chick. That's actually not a bad nickname. I wouldn't mind giving that to somebody.
Can I just say at this point that I'm mildly uncomfortable? I'm not afraid, but we're entering a zone where I'm not quite sure how I feel about that.
What was your favorite character to do on SNL?
I like doing Ron Wood.
Oh yeah,
because it's like you're going to my camera. The guy didn't even know took a shit on a turtle. You know what I mean? It's the good times. Yeah, we're good times. It doesn't matter what the Gatling was saying because you know it doesn't matter. Imagine line, I guess you know. But that's Mick, man. He's crazy, Mick.
Yeah. I was watching the one you did with Nicole Kidman last night over and over again. I don't even know the name of the character where you're the kid and you're strapped to the
with the harness and the helmet.
Philip, thank you. That was me as a kid. I was hypoglycemic.
Oh my God!
I was on a harness and I had a hockey helmet. My head is mostly scar tissue, so. And I had a big head when I was a kid. You know, my dad used to always say to me, "You know, Michael." Mm-hmm. When you're indoors, take off your hockey helmet. And I go, not wearing a hockey helmet. And it's like oh, sorry.
And you're a huge Peter Sellers fan? What do you think of Steve Martin redoing the movies?
I thought he did a great job. He's just such a great... Steve Martin can do no wrong on The Jerk. They're shooting at the cans. They hate the cans. I love
that. I didn't like him redoing the Sellers roles. I was like, comedies shouldn't be redone.
Yeah, we feel like some of these movies just should not be redone. Peter Sellers, the Pink Panther movies, when they redid The In-Laws, it's like, what are you doing? The movie was perfect as far as the comedy goes.
Yeah, it's a tough call. You know, usually they remake movies because it was either in black and white and now it's color. Mm-hmm. It was in silent and now it's sound. Right. Foreign language into this language. But, you know, some movies really do benefit from, like, the technology now. It's like, God, you can do anything now with computers.
Sure.
Those are the things that people usually do remakes for.
Yeah, CGI stuff is great. Like, you know, King Kong, I liked what they did with that.
Yeah.
Even from 77 to the one they just did a couple years ago was a great improvement. But comedies, it's like you're not going to, there's no advance that's going to make the jokes any better. It's like,
no, but there's some cool stuff out there. I'm going to do a movie about the Battle of Britain, which is the big thing I want to do next. My mom was in the Battle of Britain, which is amazing. My mom had a top security clearance. She knew that the British had broken the German codes. And you know, when you see those ladies with the big maps of England and they have those Baccarat sticks and it's like... yeah. Jerry's over Norfolk. Scramble Biggin Hill. Mackenzie, play the bagpipes. I don't know if it frightens the Germans, but by God, it terrifies me. That type of thing. That's what my mom did. She has awesome stories. They used to use the big map of England as a Ouija board, trying to figure out where the Germans were going to attack next, and it was always right.
Wow, that's weird.
Yeah, and stuff like that. And I just that's my big thing. I mean, I don't want to, like, kill anybody or hurt anybody, but you know, I watch the History Channel and when they have those gun sight cameras and a Spitfire comes down and strafes a train and it blows up and stuff like that.
It's just amazing. I watch that all the time. I said if it wasn't for the death and maiming and stuff, war just looks like the most fun you could have.
I like it when stuff blows up, and I like those shows where like big trucks move Earth.
Why is that?
Because I'm simple. That's why. I like stuff. You know, when they blow up hotel casinos.
Yeah.
And you know how it's going to turn out. But it's like, I'm going to switch the channel. Forget it.
Just going to keep watching, of course.
I love it when stuff blows up. Blows up real good.
Aren't you doing a Keith Moon movie too?
I'm well, the writer's strike stopped everything.
Messed up everything, right?
Just was a big, I always want to say spanner. In your country, monkey wrench.
Right,
we're separated by a common language, Americans and Canadians. It just just screwed everything up. I loved Keith Moon, man. I mean, there was drumming. Pictures of Lily is a masterpiece. There's rock drumming before Pictures of Lily, and then rock drumming after Pictures of Lily. He's like one of the only drummers that used the drum kit as a compositional tool. Mm-hmm. And he was just a nut, but a lovable nut. And I've done some research on him, and you know, it's like Farley, you know, like Farley, you know, they described him, he was, you know, a bad boy but a good man, as they said about Belushi too, you know. These people are fascinating, and when you get to meet somebody so just hilarious like Farley, every Saturday I used to take a take a shower, you know, you run your lines and you're so focused and stuff. And every week there's this public shower, you know, for men's shower. And every week Farley used to take off his clothes, come into the shower, and press me up against the wall, prison style, and go, "I love you, Michael. Just kiss me." And every week I would forget, you know, and you just literally laugh until you whiz yourself. He's just so funny. He's knocked out a tooth of mine. I got like scars on my hands and my head because he was just crazy, like a Tasmanian devil, man. But Keith Moon was like that, and people like that are fascinating. And movies take a long time. I always have like 10 to 20 ideas circling the airport. I don't even know what my next movie is. I just kind of go, what's in me? And, you know, I'm so lucky I get to do this for a living. I can't believe it's worked out as well as it has, and where I get to make something and be part of something. And, you know, Saturday Night Live was great for that. Have an idea in the bath on Sunday and see it on national TV on Saturday. Cool, yeah.
It's got to be obviously a good feeling that things that you find funny, the masses find funny, because you know, that's tough.
But you can't, you know, you'd go insane if if you had to go into a laboratory and come up with the least commercial idea in the world, it would be Austin Powers.
Yeah.
An English dude with bad teeth that doesn't even look like real chest hair. He's really inappropriate, and I'm parodying parodies.
Yeah.
And at the time, it was parodying a parody of a James Bond movie. This is before Casino Royale. I don't know if you saw Casino Royale.
Oh, yeah.
That movie rocks.
Wasn't that David Niven?
No, the new one.
Right.
The first one.
Everyone's talking about how great the new one is.
I love the new one.
The dude that cries blood is like just one, and that running just one awesome sequence of it.
Yeah.
Well, this wasn't that when I came out with it. This was like, I mean, bless. I won't even name names because I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, but it was at its lowest point. And so if you had to go into a laboratory and come up with that, and then all of a sudden it's like people are like, I like that movie, and I'm like, I just have the greatest job in the world, you know. I don't know how it all works out.
I got to ask you about the Dr. Evil Lorne connection there.
It's more Donald Pleasance. You know?
Is it really a Donald Pleasance thing?
If you look back, you know, it's the same kind of Englishy accent.
Yeah.
But, hey, listen, Lorne gave me a break in TV. Lorne gave me a break in movies. Lorne's like the smartest dude I know. He is honestly just, you know, it's one of those rare occasions where you work for a producer who's funnier than you are. And you're not sitting there going, okay, here's the joke. Here's what I meant. And he's a great joke repairman, which is awesome. As is Conan O'Brien, by the way.
Yeah.
The best joke repairman in the world.
Joke repairman.
Well, no, because you come in and you kind of got it.
You got it. It's almost there.
It's the near funny.
Yeah.
It's virtually funny, and these dudes can make it actually funny. But, you know, he has a private army, Lorne. You know, that's what it was. He has his lair. He has a private army, but everything's done with love. I'm indebted to that man. Will be for the rest of my life.
Yeah,
gave me a break.
Do you have another Austin Powers movie in you think?
You know, it's one of the 10 to 15 ideas that are circling the airport. This one would be from Dr. Evil's point of view. It would be, in essence, Dr. Evil 1, the start of a new trilogy.
Nice.
From his thing. And it just has to get written. Mm-hmm. And it takes a long time. You know, when you create and write and produce, these things just eat up all your time. And it's exciting work, and it's fun, and it's great, but it just takes a long time.
You got one of the coolest pieces of, like, band, I guess, memorabilia ever. George Harrison's Last Letter.
This is an amazing thing that I often get choked up telling about it. You know, my dad was from Liverpool, working class, so proud that the Beatles came from Liverpool. You have no idea. I did Austin Powers 3, and it was the Austin Pussy, you know, the fake opening of the movie, like they did one of the James Bond movies where They had a guy that was supposed to be Sean Connery, and they were trying to figure out how to kill James Bond. So I just went, oh, wouldn't that be great? So I called up Steven Spielberg, because I did Shrek, right? And so I said, Steven, I got this idea. I would love for you to be the director of Austin Pussy, which is the movie within the movie, you know? And he said, I love it. Tell me what to wear and when to show up. I'm like, I'm sorry? Okay. I thought I was going to have to, like, pitch this thing for 2 hours. I had all these ideas. I was going to come over with charts. I was going to juggle kittens, have sparks coming out of my ass, anything to get him to do it. And he's such a lovely guy, you know, Steven Spielberg. He called all these people. And so it's one day, we called it Big Friday. And because we had to change for everybody's schedule, just to rechange the schedule was $1 million. Just because movies are so expensive. So we called it Big Friday. We shot outdoors at Paramount. I wake up, it's raining. We don't have rain cover. I'm like, we're dead. Then I put on CNN, and George Harrison has died. I cried like a baby. You know, George was my favorite. He was spiritual and just cool, man. Just cool. He's died, and I thought, this should be the best day of my life. It's the worst day of my life. Then I get a call from a guy who's a private investigator, and he was like, I'm very, but he was in an underground parking lot, so it was like, I need to talk to you, very important, and I'm like, what? Okay, I'll call you later. Bye. And I thought, okay, so some dude wants to kill me or something. I don't know. But there's a letter he has to show me. It's probably written in somebody's blood. And I don't know what the hell it is. So I go, and I'm in the makeup room, and there's Steven Spielberg, there's Kevin Spacey, Danny DeVito, Gwyneth Paltrow, Tom Cruise, and I'm sitting there like, I feel like I'm in Madame Tussauds. It looks like the Wax Museum, like I can't believe it. Dries up. Jay Roach, the director, geniusly, you know, like in basketball where they mop it up, you know, when somebody falls and they mop up the sweat. He did that like on the grandest scale, came up with a genius idea. He's so smart, Jay. Sun comes out. We shoot it. Better than written. Unbelievably great. I'm like, tears in my eyes. This is just so awesome, you know. Then I get a knock on the door, and it's the private investigator. It was a lovely guy. He goes, I have something I have to show you, Mr. Myers. And it was the last letter that George Harrison ever wrote to anybody. And it was a fan letter. And it was like, Dear Mike, I've been looking all over Europe for a mini U-Doll, and I can't find one. But I just want to say, love the movies. Now, I had mentioned in an ABC special that scene in A Hard Day's Night when the helicopter takes off, that I cry every time. Because Austin Powers, basically, I just wanted to make A Hard Day's Night, you know. And he said, I'm sorry I left you that day on the helicopter. I promise I won't do it again. Anyways, keep up the good work. And I'm like, this is the greatest day of my life.
Wow.
That letter is in like a frame, like the Constitution, you know. It's like it's bulletproof, and this is one of the miracles. You just can't believe it. I can't believe it's my life, you know. It's just, I don't know how this happened. It's just unbelievably filled with miracles like that.
You could tell, and I think a lot of people that do come from a working class background have much more of an appreciation of things when you finally do get there.
Well, look, you know, in my house, you know, me and my brothers, we fought. You know, we love each other, but, you know, like, we hospital fought. You know?
Really?
We, like, fought to the point where, like, teeth were knocked out and stuff like that. And I was the youngest of three, and you know, but when Blazing Saddles would come on, there was a truce in the house, and even the house smelled better, you know, when a good comedy would come on. So it means a lot to me. I work really hard because I go, God, you know, movies are, you know, the price goes up every week, then plus popcorn, plus Milk Duds, plus babysitter, parking, Diet Coke. I mean, it's a major investment. And so I go, every molecule of this movie better be entertaining, man, because it's a lot.
Yeah, and let's talk about the Love Guru, because we only have like 2 or 3 minutes left.
Beautiful.
With Mike Myers. So, what's the plot of the movie? Just in case people haven't heard, which would be amazing at this point.
Well, you know, the Yankees hired a guru when they went into a slump. The Toronto Maple Leafs hire a guru because their main guy has kind of lost his mind and has gone sort of crazy, gone girl crazy. His wife was played by Romney Malco. Darren Roanoke's the player, plays for the Toronto Maple Leafs.
He was in 40-Year-Old Virgin, by the way.
Yeah, and Weeds. Super hilarious.
Weeds, right, sure.
Hilarious, great guy. Now he's a great skater, the bastard. He learned how to skate like a week. And he skates better than I do, and I'm Canadian. It's my little bit of shame. So Jane Bullard, who owns the team, took it over from her father, played by the beautiful Jessica Alba. She hires me to fix their relationship because the wife, played by Megan Good, has fallen in love with Jacques Lecoq Grande, played by Justin Timberlake, who has the biggest wiener in hockey. And so I have to get in there, sabotage that relationship, get them back together so that they can win the Stanley Cup.
Nice. And Vern Troy's the coach?
He plays Coach Punch Churkov.
That's hilarious.
He's a mean, in the movie, he's a mean bastard, and he's known as the longest yard.
Mm-hmm. Well, the clips I saw, it looks like it's going to be hilarious.
Well, thank you.
We weren't fortunate enough to get a screener copy. Thanks, Roland. So I'm watching YouTube interviews yesterday. I see a lot of people got to see the movie in advance. We didn't.
Can't be trusted with a screener copy.
Yeah,
I've seen Opie out on the corner with the big duffel bag.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Pirated.
The saddest part of it is you can buy it on Canal Street.
Yeah, right. So just go down there. Yeah. You can get tickets at fandango.com, but the Love Guru. Mike, this was a pleasure. Hope you had a good time, man.